the world's most popular recording artist. The music, the success.
It's just incredible to me.
All in a breathtaking 1 hour special. Enjoy Christmas with Mariah Carey, 9:30 Thursday on 9.
I wonder if he'll like it.
When you're selecting a gift, don't take chances. Choose something that will impress, such as specialities from Ferrero. You can choose between Ferrero Rocher, Mon Cherie, the hazelnut chocolate, and Raffaello. Or offer all three in the exclusive Ferrero Assortment Deluxe. Impress this Christmas with Ferrero.
Whoa, are you okay? Sure. Just thought I'd drop in. Would you like a drink? Oh, you bet.
I know. Let's have some fun. Let's nibble Nobby's nuts.
Twas the night before Christmas. Fortunately, Coles was still open. And Coles has everything you could ever need for the perfect Christmas dinner. So instead of running all over town, why not make one trip to your local Coles and you'll be all set for Christmas. Coles. Good food made easy.
Brashers have saved their year's best offers till Christmas, so you can save on this superb-sounding Iowa hi-fi system. It's the world's #1 bestseller, absolutely loaded with features, and just $995 this Christmas at Brashers. Save $600 on the Sanyo video camera with remote control and colour viewfinder. Brashers' special Christmas price, only $1,299.
Give everyone a great night in this Christmas.
Under lights at the MCG Australia A clash with England for the first time. 1:50 Tuesday, only on 9.
Come on, Aussie, come on, come on.
It has bounce and sing.
I hope that you win this.
A fresh kind of excitement every night.
The nerves have gone, right?
No, not at all.
Did I say bounce? Just look at her go.
You got it!
Weeknights are jumping with the prices right on Channel 9.
What's the story on Craft Singles? Wow! They now come in an easy-to-use, easy-to-store box.
Introducing Gillette Series Clear Gel Antiperspirant. A clear, clean, powerful gel. It goes on smoothly with no white residue to form an invisible barrier of protection. New Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant.
Tell me how this one makes you feel.
Loopy? KFC chicken loopies.
We're all crazy about KFC chicken loopies. KFC chicken loopies. I like it like that.
A McDonald's Bacon and Egg McMuffin is a freshly cracked egg, a toasted English muffin, bacon and cheese. It's very tasty and just $1.95.
Snack time, McDonald's. Snack time.
We know we see all the men you have to be, just how much you give, all the lives you live.
From Gillette Sensor Shaving Technology comes Gillette Series. High-performance shaving, aftershave, and deodorant products to help a man look, feel, and be his best.
Gillette, the best of men.
The Gillette Series, together with Gillette Sensor, is redefining men's groove.
Until now, lighted watch dials were really hard to see in the dark. But the Indiglo nightlight from Timex is so dramatically brighter. Nighttime will never be the same.
Good food, good health. with Dr. Karen Phelps.
There's been a lot of talk about osteoporosis, and it's usually concerning women. But 1 in 6 men can also develop this crippling disease. So, fellas, there are 3 things you can do to help prevent osteoporosis. Get some regular exercise like walking, eat a balanced diet, and most importantly, get plenty of calcium. Dairy foods are the richest natural source.
Brought to you by the Australian Dairy Corporation.
This program was proudly brought to you by Mobile Millions. There's a winner about every 2 seconds.
Channel 9's Wednesday night mystery movie. Britain's favourite cop.
I need hard evidence, Jim.
The murders are identical.
In a classic whodunit.
You just don't let go.
It's not my nature.
An all-new Taggart, 8:30 Wednesday on Channel 9.
This program is proudly brought to you by Chanel and Ansett Australia.
Ivan Milat to face trial over the backpacker murders. His lawyer says it won't be fair. Mortgage and credit card interest rates on the rise. And Mark Taylor calls for Australia A to be dumped from the World Series.
From National 9 News, this is Nightline with Jim Waley.
Good evening. 49-year-old Ivan Milat, the Sydney man charged with the backpacker murders, has been committed for trial. Milat faces 7 charges of murder, 1 of attempted murder, 1 of armed robbery, and several firearms charges. But asks Milat's solicitor, can his client get a fair trial? Daniel Blyde has our report.
The last witness in the backpacker case, Chief Superintendent Clive Small, the man who headed the investigation. He told the court police targeted Ivan Milat after uncovering the evidence of Witness A, a British backpacker who claims, like the 7 killed, he was also attacked on the Hume Highway. Witness A not only identified Ivan Milat from a photo, he gave police a detailed description of his attacker. Milat's lawyer argued Witness A's description could have been applied to other Milat family members, couldn't it? Mr. Small replied, only to a far less degree. With that, the Crown then declared its case closed. Milat's lawyer made the briefest of submissions, conceding there was sufficient evidence to send his client to trial. The magistrate then asked Ivan Milat if he had anything to say. When the answer was no, Mr. Price then formally committed him to stand trial in the Supreme Court. But the magistrate stressed his decision should not be seen as any sort of ruling on Milat's guilt or innocence. That, he said, would be a decision for a jury next year. But outside, Mr. Bowe was blunt when asked if he thought Ivan Milat could get a fair trial.
No, I don't.
He blamed unrelenting media coverage and likened Milat's case to O.J. Simpson and the trial of Lindy Chamberlain.
And you saw the results in it. I'm not for a minute suggesting that the evidence is similar or anything like that. It's the issue of the invasion of the media into the criminal justice system.
For the victims' families, though, today was the end of 2 months of anguish.
Going over all the evidence again, of course. It's been hard hearing that.
Milat's trial's expected by the middle of next year. Daniel Blyde, reporting for Nightline.
The Supreme Court has increased the time the killer of 8-year-old Melbourne schoolgirl Kylie Gill will spend behind bars. Kylie's mother pushed for the appeal, incensed by the 15-year non-parole period given to Wai Yin Chan. Chan first sexually assaulted the girl, then suffocated her. To disguise the murder, he ran over Kylie's body, claiming it was a road accident. Today, the full bench of the Supreme Court described his original sentence as mercifully short and added 5 years. 2 cousins have faced Dubbo Court in Western New South Wales, charged with the murder and sexual assault of a nurse. The body of 21-year-old Sandra Hoare was found after she was abducted from Walgett Hospital. 24-year-old Vesta Fernando and his 23-year-old cousin Brendan Fernando were arrested yesterday. It's alleged Vesta Fernando raped the woman, then killed her with a machete. The murder has prompted a review of security at more than 200 hospitals throughout the state. 4 teenagers have appeared in Brisbane Children's Court charged with murdering a 76-year-old man. 3 girls aged 14, 15 and 16 and a 14-year-old boy were also charged with breaking, entering and stealing. Police allege one of the teenagers stabbed Leslie Cowie during an argument. He later died from wounds to the chest. It's claimed the group stopped at the house on Saturday afternoon when they saw a BMX bicycle for sale. Victorian police are hunting a 30-year-old man suspected of lighting several fires in Melbourne's southeast this afternoon. Homes were evacuated as the blaze, fuelled by heatwave conditions, destroyed property and threatened homes.
6 spot fires suddenly broke out just after midday along Melbourne's southeastern freeway. They're believed to have been started by a man aged in his 30s who was seen parked nearby in a white station wagon. As temperatures soared to nearly 38 degrees, strong winds whipped up the flames, pushing a blaze that was soon threatening homes along a half-a-kilometre stretch. Residents fled, one teenager suffering minor burns as she tried to rescue elderly neighbours.
I was running, my shoes came off and I just didn't bother about them, so I was standing on ashes as I was doing their fence.
As the flames advanced, 30 children were evacuated from a nearby creche.
They're pretty good. There are a bit of smoke around. They panicked a couple of them, but mostly they're pretty good.
It was eventually brought under control late this afternoon. In South Australia, firefighters are tonight keeping an eye on 2 bushfires on Kangaroo Island. Volunteer crews from Adelaide were shipped across to help the locals as one blaze moved towards the town of Pandana. A firefighter and another person were injured as flames moved within 3 kilometres of the town. Several homes were surrounded by flames, but fire crews managed to hold them back. Patrols remain on standby in case it flares during the night. So far, 3,000 hectares of bushland have been destroyed. And heatwave conditions in Tasmania have seen homes south of Hobart threatened by a large fire, which got out of control during backburning operations. So far, the fire has destroyed several hundred hectares of bushland. Chris Castellari for Nightline.
Federal Treasurer Ralph Willis has hinted again at tax increases, telling a Sydney conference tonight that rises are likely if the government moves to tighten fiscal policy. The Treasurer also predicted the current account deficit would be $4 billion higher than the $18 billion originally forecast. The Advance Bank has taken an unwelcome step ahead of the pack, lifting its mortgage rate to 9.95%. But worries about higher interest rates aren't hitting consumers just yet, with spending in October up more than 9% on last year. Meantime, it's not only mortgages on the move this Christmas, credit card rates are also rising. Banks say they're merely passing on government increases, but the Prices Surveillance Authority and consumer groups are not convinced.
With Australia out of recession, retailers are preparing for a bumper Christmas. Shoppers expected to splurge a record $12 billion, up 5% on last year. But just as the plastic gets its biggest annual workout, credit card interest rates have jumped as much as 1.5%. And the Prices Surveillance Authority and consumer groups want to know why.
The consumer could be seriously asking, are banks competitive? And the answer could well be no.
The Prices watchdog has asked banks to justify the timing and size of the increase. It will also examine bank margins. The investigation is routine, but the Consumers Association claims it's a timely probe given recent record bank profits. But huge profits or not, the Bankers Association claims the rates rise is more than justified. The last increase was late 1993, and since then the cost of funds to banks has increased significantly.
Official interest rates have risen by 1 3/4%. So it's inevitable that banks as intermediaries will at some time have to increase their credit card rates.
The Consumers Association says where possible, shoppers should choose lay-by over plastic. Sharon Gadella for Nightline.
It's never easy striking a happy medium between preserving our land and making a living from it. Now a group of leading industry groups has banded together to push for a moratorium on World Heritage listings in Australia. David Turnbull reports.
The Great Barrier Reef, Kakadu and the envy of the world. But not everyone wants that list to grow.
It's not in the interests of government and it's not in the interests of the Australian community to have this ad hoc process continue.
The Farmers Federation has joined forces with the Business Council, miners, foresters and the petroleum industry to pressure the federal government for a moratorium on heritage nominations.
The current arrangements have failed completely to win the confidence of industry and to win the confidence of the local community.
The industries claim the federal government pursues heritage listings without coordination with the states, with no management plans in place, and that creates uncertainty that costs Australia hundreds of millions of dollars in lost exports.
We've had the ludicrous position where the Commonwealth is in there putting forward a nomination, and then you've had states and community groups out there in the corridors lobbying against it. Now that simply makes Australia a laughingstock.
It's no coincidence the industry protest came this week. Only this morning there were reports that 4 more Australian sites were under heritage evaluation. Uluru was nominated for its cultural landscape, and the World Heritage Commission is also looking at the Eastern Rainforest and Riversley Fossil Site in Queensland and the Victoria Fossil Cave near Mount Gambier in South Australia.
Now the formula is to get in there very, very early and talk to people well in advance of proceeding with a listing, have a management plan, and also have a look at a community adjustment program so that people have got jobs to go to.
The government responded to the industry criticism quickly, saying it was always keen to consult, but a moratorium on heritage listings simply wasn't an option.
We have an international responsibility and obligation to see these areas protected for future generations.
David Turnbull, reporting for Nightline.
After the break, Russian troops invade the rebel region of Chechnya and a tough Christmas campaign against drink driving.
On a current affair,
Alex Jezelenko, one of the greatest of them all, reunited with another Jezza.
Hi, brother. Where have you been for 50 years? How what? Good.
The brother he thought had died 50 years ago.
It was a 43 million to 1 chance. It's incredible.
tomorrow 6:30.
Today I'm on the trail of something that's truly Australian and very special. Ah, gotcha. Have a look at this little beauty. Lay your hands on one of these and enjoy some real Aussie adventures with big discounts on accommodation and entry fees to over 60 top spots. Also, when you join the Australian Geographic Society, you get the magazine 4 times a year, plus this free giant road and reference map, all for a subscription fee of just $37.40. It makes a great gift. And you get our special Australian Geographic shop discounts on selected gear too. So come on, join the Australian Geographic Society now. Phone 1-800-502-502. Remember, $37.40 gets you adventure discounts, 4 Australian Geographic magazines, a colour catalogue and a giant map. Hey Dick, I never knew they grew this big.
The joy of giving, the celebration of Christmas. And at David Jones, you'll find an extra special range of Christmas gift ideas from Estee Lauder. Beautiful, white linen, youth dew. And at David Jones, with any Estee Lauder fragrance purchase of $45 or more, you'll also receive a special gift of Knowing Eau de Parfum spray and a gold-cased lipstick, elegantly presented in their own black evening bag. Especially at Christmas, there's no other store like David Jones.
Year when some people have a few too many cheery Christmas drinks, then get in their cars and kill themselves or someone else. Now, though, for the first time, federal and state governments are combining in a national effort to cut the road toll. In a coordinated ad campaign, drivers will be given brutal reminders of the dangers of drink driving. A man in his early 30s has been taken into custody after trying to drive a backhoe into the Gold Coast Hospital at Southport. Apparently upset at the treatment of his wife by medical staff, the man held police at bay for about 20 minutes, narrowly missing several parked cars. Eventually, a friend talked the man into giving up. Another slow boat with 27 people on board arrived on our northern coast from Asia today, right on the heels of yesterday's boatload of 89 Chinese. The latest arrivals are seen as yet another embarrassment for our overstretched coastal surveillance authorities.
The 89 boat people from southern China were escorted into Darwin Harbour yesterday, bringing to more than 600 the number of boat people to arrive in northern Australia this year.
Well, I don't think we've seen the end of it. The information is that there are other boats on their way.
40 men, 20 women and 29 children were today taken to Darwin Airport under heavy security to be flown to Port Hedland Detention Centre in Western Australia.
We've had senior officials from our department visiting China in recent times, talking to Chinese officials about the problem and seeing what can be done.
The Chinese boat people will be interviewed in Port Hedland to determine their exact intentions. Unlike the 13 Vietnamese boat people deported last month, the Chinese will be able to apply for refugee status here in Australia.
Only 3 weeks ago, 13 Vietnamese arrived undetected in Darwin. Today's unannounced arrival of 27 boat people in Broome has again put the spotlight on our coastal surveillance capability.
Well, it makes our coastal surveillance and our protection capability a bit of a farce when we've got to rely on a passing motorist or a jogger to tell the authorities we've got intruders.
Also yesterday, another 12 foreign fishing vessels were escorted into Darwin, bringing the number of boats in ports of 45, with a population of 250 living on board, though some have now had their fate decided by the courts.
13 of those boats I expect will be destroyed on the weekend coming, and we'll be sailing 5 out tomorrow.
Officials say they don't know when the next boats will arrive, only saying more are on their way.
Russian troops have a chokehold on Grozny, the capital of the breakaway Republic of Chechnya. Not everything is going Moscow's way, with nearly 50 Russian soldiers captured by Chechen forces. President Yeltsin has restrained his tanks and troops from a final assault, calling instead for peace talks with the rebel leaders.
Despite the appeals for this not to turn into a war, the Russian army have been forced to fight. The columns of troops and armoured vehicles crossed the Chechen border at first light this morning. Effectively reoccupying a part of Russia, they rolled past a sullen and largely unresisting population. For 3 years, these people have considered themselves independent. The overwhelming show of force today, on the ground and in the air, was intended to show them that further resistance would be suicidal. Lines of Russian tanks now stand silhouetted against the snow, ringing the Chechen capital, Grozny. But within the city, hundreds of armed men say they are ready to fight, suicidal or not. It's still not clear whether the Russians intend to storm the city and risk massive civilian casualties, nor whether the Chechen leader, Zhokar Dudayev, is serious about resolving this peacefully. Russia has now made the move. Its prestige is at stake. It controls at least the countryside, and it will be reluctant to back down. The invasion is, however, not going down well in Moscow. This evening, close to 1,000 people turned out in freezing temperatures to hear a former ally of Boris Yeltsin, Yegor Gaidar, remind the president he's sending troops against fellow Russians. Heavy casualties on either side would be deeply unpopular here.
A radical Muslim group says its bombing of a Philippines airline jet is just the first in a terror campaign. 1 passenger was killed and 10 injured in the mid-air explosion on board a jumbo jet flying to Tokyo. The bomb blew a hole in the floor, but the plane managed to make a safe emergency landing an hour later at Naha in southern Japan. In Britain, some lucky devil is about to find themselves $40 million richer. That's first prize in the National Lottery, which jackpotted this week. Only one person chose all the right numbers. The winner's identity is still to be verified. Lottery organisers will provide counsellors for the lucky punter to help them cope with the impact of winning so much money. In a moment, Russia's torment and growing anger over trying to emulate the success of the West.
Under lights at the MCG Australia A clash with England for the first time. 1:50 Tuesday, only on 9.
Come on, Aussie, come on, come on.
You hate me, don't you? Say it. Hate is a very exciting emotion. Haven't you noticed? I hate you too. I hate you so much, I think I'm going to die from it. Darling. Share the fantasy. Chanel number 5.
Brashers have saved their year's best offers till Christmas, so you can save on walkies, stereo cassette and portable CD players. Brashers have the best Christmas range in town. All the best brands and the best value by miles. Perfect for Christmas giving. Simply the best savings on CDs too. Pay just $24.95 for top CDs like these and get this Hot Tracks Great Hits compilation CD absolutely free. Only Brashers has it.
Give everyone a great night in this Christmas.
The joy of giving, the celebration of Christmas. And at David Jones, you'll find an extra special range of Christmas gift ideas from Burley. The beautiful embroidery of Burley Extravagance. Sophisticated, luxurious, a range of coordinated styles to suit every woman. And in superb English lace, Burley Fleur d'Amour. Give a little luxury this Christmas from the collections of Burley. Especially at Christmas, there's no other store like David Jones.
She said, let's ride. The all-new Hyundai XL from $13,990.
Turn to the problems threatening the stability of Russia. Just last week at the European Security Summit in Budapest, Russian President Boris Yeltsin warned that the Cold War was in danger of becoming a cold peace. It was an indication of how many Russians are writhing with frustration, humiliation and anger as they try to adapt to Western models and ideals. Now, more and more are rethinking their attitudes, particularly as they grope for a solution to the rebel movement in Chechnya.
Russia remains a formidable military power, but she is now largely unable to convert this power into influence on the world stage. And this, together with her continuing economic woes, is now causing many leading Russians to doubt the policy of westernization that's been followed since the fall of the Soviet Union. The TV commercials of a leading bank are still promoting the benefits of westernization. They remind viewers of Russia's great modernizer, Tsar Peter the Great, who hauled the country out of the mud of medieval stagnation by borrowing Western ideas. The result, 250 years ago, was a flowering of wealth and culture. But this time, the results of adopting Western market reforms have not been so positive.